You're watching Look Up TV. My name is Louis. It's time for the news.
The news headlines in association with
Tonight on Look Up News.
Tukuibwa mali yake na serikali hapana rudishie yeye. Hiyo mtu takula nini na hana kitu kingine ya kukula?
Tension remains high at Cormin in Samburu East as one person is confirmed dead and a police officer seriously injured.
One suspected case of viral hemorrhagic fever was identified and isolated in Mobende Regional Referral Hospital.
Uganda confirms Ebola outbreak in the neighborhood.
Sote tumekuja katika mabunge haya mawili hususan kuhakikisha kwamba msaidia Mkenya wa kawaida.
SRC allowances debate. Senator Speaker Emerson Kingi urges SRC to review allowance perks of senators ahead of the SRC meeting slated for tomorrow.
Yippee! Kamata floating at 349K. Oh yes, for only 349,000 Kenyan shillings, you become a plot owner at the Great Oasis Gardens, Nanyuki. The Great Oasis Gardens, Nanyuki is located along the Nanyuki-Rumuruti Road, only 11 minutes from the Cedar Mall and right opposite Mount Kenya Wildlife Estate. This is the best place to establish the getaway home that you have always dreamt about. For every 349,000 that you deposit or pay as installment towards any of Optiven's plot of land, you get 10K cash back instantly. Jaza basi twende Nanyuki. Bigger is indeed better.
Speaker of the National Senate, Emerson Kingi, has implored the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, SRC, to look into improving perks for senators as the commission meets tomorrow to deliberate on the scrapped sitting allowances for the lawmakers. Kingi argues the oversight work of the Senate Assembly requires intensive monitoring of the allocated budget that is appropriated at county level, where there is need for senators to be facilitated to fully carry out their constitutional mandate. Henry Tende walks us through.
As induction for the lawmakers continues, the thorny issue of sitting allowances in the National and Senate Assemblies has once again come to the fore. Voices of discontent from members of both assemblies who are not comfortable with the decision of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission to scrap off major allowances for the 13th Assembly sounding loudly.
Some savings so that we catch up with the lost time.
The lawmakers want the SRC Commission to review their decision.
Good morning. My name is Soipan Tuya.
On Wednesday, during the Senate induction in Naivasha, Speaker of the Senate Emerson Kingi delved into the debate, insisting SRC should, as a matter of urgency, improve their perks to facilitate them carry out their constitutional mandate. Governments.
For the 10 years, if Senator Mazayo has to traverse the county of Kilifi to see what I'm doing as a governor, I had to fuel his vehicle to basically oversee what the county government is doing. I think you're talking about is not really an allowance. It is a facilitation that will enable the senators to actualize their constitutional mandate. It is not something new that they're demanding. It is not an additional amount of money that they want to add to their emoluments. It is, they simply want to be facilitated to undertake a constitutional duty.
In this crucial task, the Senate works in a watchdog role to ensure resources allocated to devolved units by the national government is not mismanaged. It is this nature of their work that Speaker Emerson Kingi says Salaries and Remuneration Commission must facilitate in order to ensure there is proper running of county governments.
We talk of oversight. You cannot pretend to do oversight if you're not facilitated to go see exactly the resources that you have appropriated to the different counties, what these resources are doing. And the only way to do that is to enable, to facilitate the senators. Otherwise, there'll be Nairobi here, and Kenyans will start bashing them. That how comes we are seeing a lot of misuse of resources, and yes, senators, you're not aware.
On Wednesday, the SRC Commission retreats to deliberate on this sensitive matter amid heightened calls for review of the parks. Whether or not there will be any change in this regard remains a wait-and-see situation. Henry Tende, Look Up TV.
I am Enoch, Senator Kitui County.
There has been an undercurrent of push and pull between the Senate and the National Assembly, and now the Senate is determined to earn the respect of the National Assembly. They raised strong sentiments in Naivasha during their induction, criticizing their counterparts in the National Assembly.
Sibling rivalry dominated the day one of the Senator's historical induction in Naivasha.
Honorable members, when the Speaker is upstanding, everybody in the room should be upstanding, even before him.
Led by Senate Speaker Amason Kingi, the legislatures blamed the National Assembly for undermining the roles of the Senate.
Kwanza ni jambo la kuhuzunisha kwamba bunge la kitaifa na bunge la seneti wanaleta ubabe. Nafikiri mbabe katika nchi ya Kenya ni mwananchi wa kawaida ambaye amechagua senators na wabunge katika seneti na katika bunge la kitaifa mtawalia. Na sote tumekuja katika mabunge haya mawili hususan kuhakikisha kwamba msaidia Mkenya wa kawaida.
Unfortunately, after senators allocated money, we did a lot of work. We went to several countries to share experience. We were told this is a money bill. You can't proceed. So, this is an issue that we will have to grapple with.
The Fourth Senate stated that at times, in the last House, the National Assembly passed bill and forwarded them for President signing before they were approved by the Senate.
In division of revenue. But with time, during the second Senate, we were actually completely cut off. National Assembly said we had no roles. Sometimes they will do their own things, like the 28 legislations. 23 of them are matters actually affecting counties. But National Assembly went ahead and sent it to the President without concurrence of the Senate, of the Speaker of the Senate and the Senate. And I think that is where our speakers are supposed to be vigilant, and also the executive, to make sure that National Assembly, they don't pass things that are supposed to come to the Senate.
Governors who attended the event, among them Nakuru Governor Susan Kihika, asked the Senate to come up with a way of solving rivalries between the two houses.
I urge the Senate to, among other things, set up a dispute resolution mechanism between the two chambers and county governments.
So, these positions, sometimes they are very sweet, Mr. Speaker, sir. But sometimes you have bullets to bite. So, lazima ujitayarishe.
Kingi assured the senators that the rivalry will no longer be witnessed.
Nimezungumza na kakangu ambaye ni spika wa bunge la kitaifa. Na tumesema kwamba ikiwa hapo awali kulikuwa na mikwaruzano na ubabe, basi mikwaruzano ile na ubabe ule kwa sasa tutauzika katika kaburi la sahau.
Shadra Kareria, Look Up TV.
Tension is high in Samburu County after armed bandits stole at least 600 cows and killed one person. A police officer also sustained serious injuries. Area leaders are now calling on the government to tighten security.
The residents of Kom village in Samburu County are up in arms after armed bandits made their way with at least 600 cows, leaving one of them dead and an officer injured during the attack. The herders are urging the government to intervene and ensure their livestock are returned as the bandits made their way towards Otieno County.
Serikali yako na nguvu ya kurudishia community mali yao. Sheria ya serikali inalinda watu na mali zao. na kama ameshindwa akupali ameshindwa, apatie watu nafasi ya kupikana, kwa sababu mtu kuibwa mali yake na serikali hapana rudishie yeye, hiyo mtu takula nini na hana kitu kingine ya kukula?
Hao jamaa ametuweza nguvu, sasa tukarudi. Ng'ombe zetu asimeenda na tumerudi na tumebaki bila ng'ombe. Kwa hivyo saa hii tumekuwa ile maskini ile ya kutosha, kwa sababu saa hii kama una ng'ombe yako ambaye unaweza uza, ambaye unaweza lipa hata school fees ya mtoto yako, na hakuna kazi nyingine ambayo unategemea, tayari sasa tumekuwa waskini.
The herders called on President William Samoei Ruto to ensure he fulfills his campaign promise, ensuring that peace prevails in the region, as cattle rearing is their only form of livelihood, most of them using their livestock to pay school fees for their children.
Tuko sahi hata na rais India ile ambaye tumeshagua juzi, na hata yeye kwa mdomo yake alisema nitadumisha amani. Tunataka tuone hiyo promise ambayo hiyo watu wametupromise.
Samburu Governor Lati Lelelit has urged area residents to maintain peace, maintaining that the security apparatus in the country, led by the Inspector General of Police Hilary Mutyambai and the County Commissioner, must ensure the cows are returned back to the owners, as he knows where exactly the cows were driven to, while Senator Steve Lelegwe indicated that the primary role of the government is to protect its citizens and more so cattle herders in the region. Thus, the need to ensure cattle raiding is done away with, urging the officers in the security sector to ensure residents are well protected, as most of them lose their lives during such attacks.
Muko na serikali huko, muko na machief, muko na AP. Kutoka kesho tafadhali mtoe hiyo ng'ombe kutoka hiyo town mbili, kwa sababu ukiona pa nyuma sisi tumesuia wenye hiyo ng'ombe kwenda kulipisha kisasi. Tumeambia hawezi enda kwa sababu sisi ni watu tunapenda amani, lakini wataweza kasirika kama ng'ombe wao itatolewa, na tunajua ile town mbili. So chief ya Saleti, chief ya Matarba, commissioner ya Isiolo County, IG ya polisi, nimewaambia hiyo ng'ombe iko Saleti na iko Matarba.
DIG tumemwandikia message na hatujapata jawabu, na hakuna serikali tumeona leo. Kuna pia askari ambayo aliumizwa, na pia serikali hawao kuweza kuja kuona ama kupatia hawa nguvu wale ambao walikuwa wanafuata mfugo. Na tunaambia watu wetu wakae kwa amani, wasilipishe kisasi. Lakini tunaambia serikali, sisi tukidumisha amani, hawa pia wafuate mifugo ambayo imeenda, kwa sababu watu ambao wako hapa ni wale ambao wanategemea hiyo mfugo.
Ian Keitani, Lookuptv.
A 24-year-old man has been reported dead following an outbreak of Ebola in Uganda. Confirming the case, WHO Permanent Secretary Diana Otieno stated that the patient experienced high fever, loss of appetite, cough, and deteriorating health. The disease has made a comeback in Uganda after a decade.
Health authorities in Uganda have declared an outbreak of Ebola after a case of the Sudan Ebola virus was confirmed in Murende district in the central part of the country. The Uganda Virus Institute has confirmed a single death so far, also following 6 suspicious deaths this month on an investigation done by the National Rapid Response Team. In a statement, the World Health Organization Regional Director for Africa, Dr. Matshidiso Moeti, stated, and I quote, "This is the time in more than a decade that Uganda is recording an outbreak of Sudan Ebola virus. We are working closely with the national health authorities to investigate the source of this outbreak while supporting the efforts to quickly roll out effective control measures." With 8 suspected cases of patients with the virus receiving care in a health facility, Dr. Moite adds, Uganda is no stranger to effective Ebola control. Thanks to its expertise, action has been taken to quickly detect the virus, and we can bank on this knowledge to halt the spread of the infection. Confirming the first case of the Ebola virus, World Health Organization Permanent Secretary Dr. Diana Otieno says,
One suspected case of viral hemorrhagic fever was identified and isolated in Mobende Regional Referral Hospital.
Otieno adds that the infected is a 24-year-old man who had experienced symptoms that saw his health deteriorating, forcing an order to an isolation room.
He deteriorated, developed the yellowing of eyes. He started passing out tea-colored urine and also complained of severe abdominal pain.
Ebola is a severe, often fatal illness affecting humans and other primates. The case fatality rates of the Sudan virus has varied from 41% to 100% in past outbreaks. The organization has dispatched supplies to support the care of patients and is sending a tent that will be used to isolate patients. Mosta Sokich, Look Up TV.
We're going to a short break now. We'll come back with more in a short while.
Get a chance to wake up as a tourist as you view Mount Kenya every day by buying a plot of land at Wema Gardens, Naru Moru. At only 400 meters off tarmac, this is the right place to build your dream home, cottages or holiday homes. You can also buy this property to give to your children as a special inheritance. Water and electricity are in the vicinity, while neighbors are already building their homes. These plots are specially ready for you with title deeds scheduled to be out in 6 months. Buy a 50 by 100 plot of land at Wema Gardens for only 399,000 Kenya shillings. You can also pay for your plot through our friendly one-year installments plan.
This is an ordinary day in Hilary's life.
I was called by someone who represented himself to me as a husband to her. And the guy told me that she has died on 18th April.
Africa. Our economy has a bit. It never stops, always beating. Our business, the next global economic frontier. Let's talk African business.
Preparations and rehearsals are complete in most counties ahead of the swearing-in of the newly elected speakers. Embu, Nandi and Kisumu are already one step ahead.
A former member of Parliament Ganze constituency in Kilifi County, Teddy Mwambire, is the newly elected Speaker of the County Assembly, and he will be deputized by Naftali Nyaye. This is after garnering 37 votes against his competitor who gathered 17 votes. Commotion was witnessed in the House after a section of those contesting alleged that the elections were conducted not in a free and fair mode, the commotion that led to intervention by police who drove them away.
Ngaro and Joe, they want to control the County Assembly of Kilifi, and instructions from their bosses ni kuwa wakiwa pale wapige picha na watumie, which is intimidation. These are secret ballot. Waache waheshimiwa wafanye uamuzi. Yule speaker ambaye atachaguliwa atakuwa ni speaker wa Kilifi County. Isiyo tuwe tuna control from Mombasa ya kuwa waheshimiwa wetu wapige picha watume Mombasa wale waheshimiwa wote ambao wachaguliwa na wananchi wa Kilifi.
In Embu County, the preparation for the swearing-in of Embu Speaker are done, And just as James Mungi, who is the county clerk, explained, is that the MCAs will also partake oath of office on Wednesday.
Naitwa James Mungi. Mimi ni naibu wa katibu wa Assembly ya Embu, wa bunge la Embu, ama deputy clerk. Na leo ni siku muhimu kwa sababu baada ya uchaguzi huwa kuna kikao cha kwanza cha bunge, na kikao cha kwanza cha bunge kitakuwa na maneno matatu. Moja ni kuapishwa kwa waheshimiwa ambao wamechaguliwa, ya pili ni kuchagua speaker wa county assembly, na la tatu ni kuchagua deputy speaker wa county assembly ama mdogo wake. So kwa hiyo leo tuko na shughuli ya kutayarisha wale waheshimiwa ambao tunaita orientation.
A similar scenario was witnessed in Nandi County, where a bracing duel is expected for the speakership. Locals have since urged the leaders drawn from the region to keep off the speaker's elections tomorrow.
We will correct the governor whenever necessary. We will correct the workings of the county government whenever necessary.
Kuna wengine wamekuwa kwenye serikali ya county na wamerudi, wengine walikuwa kwa national government, anataka kuwa speaker wa Nandi County, na wengine wanasema wametumwa kutoka juu, wengine wanasema gavana wanamtaka. Kwa hiyo tunaomba MCAs wajitoe kabisa kwa hiyo kamba ya ambayo wamewekewa na executive wetu katika Nandi, wakuwe independent mind, watafute speaker ambaye wenyewe wamechakua.
And in Bungoma County, a total of 61 MCAs will be sworn in, and afterwards they will elect the substantive speakers.
On the first sitting, as per our standing orders, it is purely swearing in of honorable members. And after swearing in of honorable members, we will also be conducting the election of the honorable speaker and the deputy speaker.
Kariuki Nduati, Look Up TV.
Nakuru Governor Susan Kihika has reviewed 4 key county departments in a bid to streamline services. The key areas to be restructured are revenue, public transport, public service, and the supply chain. Kihika approved a total overhaul of the revenue department, where she appointed a task force to review operational challenges in public transport.
Kihika's led administration has expressed confidence that the county government will work hand in hand to achieve its goals and fulfill promises to the people of Nakuru.
Habari yenu? Asante.
Governor Kihika made major changes in 4 key areas within her mini government.
With a functional public service, I entertain no doubts that the people of Nakuru stand to reap huge dividends in terms of quality, timely and efficient delivery of services.
A task force has since been mandated to look into operational challenges faced by the public transport sector. Chaired by the county secretary, the task force will give appropriate remedies.
Streamlining of public transport. It's a sector that plays a vital role in the creation of hundreds of our youths are dependent on the sector for their daily livelihoods. Since the sector has been identified as a key source of wealth and prosperity, I have appointed a task force to consider, among other things, the operational challenges faced by the sector and recommend suitable remedies for immediate action.
The governor directed 100% waiver on all unpaid parking charges, amounting to 142 million shillings.
I've authorized and directed 100% waiver of all unpaid parking charges for the period running up to August 2022, which, ladies and gentlemen, amounts to 142 million shillings. This intervention, I have no doubt, will afford the sector an opportunity to recover and engage further with my government.
Intending to achieve revenue targets, Kihika announced the decision to approve a total overhaul of the revenue department.
I have approved a total overhaul of the revenue department. This is to include, but not limited to, 1, redeployment and reshuffling of all revenue clerks and officers. and appointment of new revenue heads.
Also, the public service sector will have the human resource function restructured and the payroll cleaned.
The human resources function must be restructured to be responsive to the needs of our workforce. I am keen to re-evaluate the existing policies on hiring, retention, and promotion of staff members.
Mudeundalana, Look Up TV.
The central government, through the National Treasury, has availed a little over 3.5 billion shillings to implement the subsidized fertilizer promised by President William Ruto during his inauguration. The amount will subsidize 71,000 metric tons of fertilizer to be distributed through the National Cereal and Produce Board, effective September 19th, 2022, to grow food crops during the short rains. Elsewhere, Kakamega residents are lamenting the high level of insecurity after a student and a watchman were murdered in cold blood. The two were hacked to death in the wee hours of the morning by unknown assailants. Area residents now want justice to be served and security be beefed up.
Alikatwa kichwa na akatungwa kwa kichwa chuma mara mbili, huku kwa macho tena huku. Sikuweza kumuona, nikawa na wasiwasi, nikapika simu hii kwa inaingia. Kufikia saa 7 ndio nilipata ripoti msee alipigwa na wakora, hako ICU.
Wako kwa hospitali hata ni bahati mtu kupona. Kama unaweza katwa panga karibu 7 kwa kichwa, wewe utapona. Na saa hii ukienda huko wanakuambia andika, uliona nani? Sasa wewe kazi yako ni kuangalia. Tunataka polisi wa patroli, vijana washikwe, wale vijana hawana kazi. Ukipatikana unasunguka usiku, shika watu.
Mimi nikomba serikali tu wafanye vizuri, watembee usiku, hata kwa matanga watembee. Kwa sababu hata mahali hapa tunalala katika shida, hatuna amani. Wito kwamba wanatafuta chang'aa wabaya na maafisa wa polisi, washike watu wa chang'aa, pia wakishika wale watu ambao wanakunywa chang'aa na wale ambao wanafuta pia bangi.
Huyo President Ruto na ameongeza maaskari pesa. Tulifikiria at least hii uhalifu itapunguako kwa sababu maaskari watakuwa wanapata pesa mingi. Hawatafuata hii pesa ya kuchukua uhongo. Lakini tunaona bado hii visa wameongezwa huko juu, lakini visa ya uhalifu inaendelea. Na hao maaskari wakikuja wanaenda wanachukua tu hongo.
Ningeomba serikali ya saa hii sasa, OCS, naomba serikali OCS wa Kakamega na kuomba ongea na ofisi yako unipe security ya hii town ya kutosha.
In a great show of pride, which I'm not sure will be followed by a great show of results, Football Kenya Federation President Nick Mwendwa today led other officials of the